Good morning. Let me move you over a little bit. Oh, don't want you to fall. Today is, I had to think there for a minute, Thursday, May 21st. No birthdays, no anniversaries that I know of. JJ Singer wanted to know how I got into the habit of, or started the tradition of singing to people. And it was like on one of my videos, because it had to have been on my birthday month. Everybody has a birthday. I like to have a birth month. I share that with Gina Pearson. But anyway, I was going on ad nauseum about my birthday. And I had said, because when I was growing up, I've said this before, I never knew that we were poor, but we were poor. And my mother always made our day special. And she always would tell us that, you know, we were the most special person in the world because we were the only one like us. We were alone in the world in the sense that we were us. And she made us feel so special. And on your birthday, it was your special day. And you always got a song. And even as an adult, when I left home and got married, when it was my birthday, I still got to pick my birthday dinner, which is a tradition I follow with my children, that they can pick their birthday dinner, and they pick their cake and their ice cream, and whatever they want, I make. And that's their day, you know. And it was the same when they were growing up, that they had to have their brothers and sister do whatever they said, because that was it. Although they had to, you know, they had enough money to get a gift because we got allowance. I never got an allowance as a child. I got enough money. I think I got a couple pennies to put in the church envelope, which was a big deal because I had my own little box of envelopes, and then on Sundays I'd go in there and I'd open it up and I'd look to see the date, and then I'd read the little prayer on it, and I'd put my little 2 pennies in it, and then I'd think, oh, I hope I'm going to church with Mom today. I hope I'm going to church with Mom today. And then I'd end up going with my dad. So my dad had, I've said this before, there was advantages to going with my mom or my dad rather than my mom. If I went with either one. If I went with my mother, we got to sit in the pew because there was a collection. I don't know how she came up with it, but she came up with a dime for us to sit down, which back then was a lot of money, and especially if you were poor. But we got to sit down. You know what, now that I think about it, my mother didn't bring us to church very often. It was always my dad. Oh, I figured that out just now. Light bulb moment. I mostly went with my dad, which was nice when you went with my dad, but you didn't get to sit in the pew because my father wouldn't pay the dime. But every once in a while, not every Sunday, but once in a while, he would bring us to Cunningham's and he'd buy us some Chuckles, which gives me my love of Chuckles. So my parents always tried to make stuff special about everything because they knew that there wasn't enough money to show you materialistically. So anyway, so I was mentioning on one of my videos that it was my birthday, and that, you know, my sister, you know, like all my sisters and brothers, because even to this day, we still call each other and sing happy birthday to us on the phone, and text us and put it on Facebook and all of that. And so I was saying that, and then somebody had wrote in the comments, well, you know, nobody is sang to me since I became an adult. I was told that that's for children. I'm a child at heart. So, no, we're going to sing. So I said, you know, you let me know when it's your birthday, and I will sing to you on your birthday, because everybody should have a song on their birthday, no matter what. And so then they told me their birthday, and I sang to them. And then it was somebody's anniversary, and they had mentioned it was there, so I sang an anniversary song. So now, if you're new to my channel, you let me know when your birthday or your anniversary is. Let me know what your significant other's name is, so I can acknowledge them too. And I sing. And I love it because it's your day and you need to be made special, because especially now, of all things. When I was going on my walk, not little girl, she's a young woman now. She was having a little graduation party, and she had like a bunch of tables set up, and then like 6 feet apart each chair, and then there was some kids all sitting 6 feet apart, and she had her cap and gown on, and it was sad. I mean, not sad. It's just like, this is not the way they should be celebrating them. You know, it's just not. But I'm hoping that maybe in August or September they'll do a commencement for them, because this, you know, it's kind of boring, I know, but it's fun. It really is. It's just something to look back at. But I'm just going to talk about attitude today, because I have a pretty good attitude as far as this weight loss is going, because it's going so slow. It's just going so slow, and it's taken me so long. But every day I feel a little bit stronger. I feel a little bit better. I'm glad that I chose to do this, especially now when they're saying that it's the pandemic 15, because people are all cooking and baking and gaining weight. And so I just, oh, the buses are going around. That's right, for the graduating seniors. They get their buses all decorated. Anyway, so I'm really glad that I have the attitude that, it's going to be slow. This is the way this is the way I'm going to eat the rest of my life. So what difference does it make? And I don't feel deprived. I don't feel starved. If I want a treat, I have a treat. I don't deprive myself of anything. And I just, I want to get to the 100 pounds, but you think I would be a little bit more dedicated on this plan to get there, but I know I'll get there. It'll take me a while, but I know, like when I was at 20 pounds saying I was going to get at 100, I had a few doubts. Even when I got to 50. But now, I have no doubt. I have no doubt I'm going to make it. But, attitude really, it reminded me of a story too, because when I first got married, Jim and I rented an upper flat from a really nice couple, and their mother lived with them, and back then it wasn't diagnosed as Alzheimer's. But is this Denise coming? Maybe not. Nope, it's not. But anyway, that was before they had Alzheimer's. I always remember, because my grandmother, now that we know that she had it, and we would go and visit, and my grandmother would just tell my mother's name was June, and she'd always say, when you see your sister June, you tell her that I'm so disappointed in her. She never comes to see me, And my mother would always say, I will let her know, I will let her know. And we got in the car, my mother would always start to cry, because her mother didn't know her. But we didn't know back then it was Alzheimer's. We just didn't know. But anyway, Mrs. Tepper's mother lived with her, and now we know she had Alzheimer's. But back then we just thought she was absent-minded. I guess that's the word. And so she never left the house, obviously, by herself. She never could sit on the porch by herself because she would wander off. And I had walked up to the drugstore at the corner of our street with my son Jimmy, because he was about 3 at the time, maybe. And it was a really big, back then there was no CVS's and Walgreens, but it was probably the size of Walgreens. It was called Waltham Drugs. How original. The street I lived on was Waltham. But anyway, so I was in there and I was looking at something, and Mrs. Tepper's mother came by, and her name was Mrs. Kowalski. And Mrs. Kowalski came by, and I said, well, hello, Mrs. Kowalski, where's your daughter? And she just laughed, and then she just kept on walking. And so I thought, well, I don't think Mrs. Tepper knows she got away. So I started following Mrs. Kowalski through the store, looking for Mrs. Tepper at the same time, because I didn't want to lose sight of Mrs. Kowalski. And I kept looking and looking and looking, and I couldn't find her, looking up and down all the aisles. And so then she went outside, and I thought, oh, good, she's going to go home. Hopefully I can talk her into walking home with me. And I thought, I'll just walk back and get whatever I had to get, later. And so I get outside, and the corner was the bus stop. And I don't know if they still do now, but back then seniors could ride for free. They didn't have to pay. And she got on the bus. And I went, no, Mrs. Kowalski, no. And I'm yelling at the bus driver, she can't go, she can't go. And he closed the doors, because he says, are you getting on? And I go, no, have her get off, have her get off. And then the doors closed and he drove off, and Mrs. Kowalski was in the back window waving to me. So I hurried up back home, knocked on Mrs. Tepper's door, and I go, because I figured she wasn't in the store. I couldn't find her in the store. So I went back home and knocked on the door, and I said, well, Mrs. Kowalski is, and before I could say anything, she says, shh, she's taking a nap. And I go, no, she's not. She's driving the 6-mile bus down to Detroit. Well, actually, we lived in Detroit, but to downtown Detroit. And she says, what? And I go, yeah, I just saw her up at the drugstore. And so she says, no, that can't be. And then she went and she goes, oh my gosh, my mother is gone. I said, yeah, she's on the 6-mile bus. So they called the police, and the police tracked the bus down and brought her home. But it was like, she was just like, her attitude was, yeah, I don't care. Here's my attitude. I'll get there. Yeah, it's a good attitude to have. But, and I'll even tell you 2 stories, because Denise reminded me of this other story. Is when we moved into our other house, when I was working at Montgomery Ward's, my boss's name was Ron, and he was a bachelor, and he was actually, come to find out later, he was gay, and he was living with his partner, but he didn't want anybody to know, so he would just say he was, a bachelor. And so I had invited him to dinner, because I felt bad for him, because I thought he's got nobody at home and nobody's cooking for him and that. So dinner was at 6. And so I wanted to get everything ready by 5:45 so that it would be all ready and I wouldn't be in the kitchen, puttering around. And I put some potato peels and broccoli stalk things down the garbage disposal. And then the garbage disposal backed up. and all of this sewer water kept coming up, and I'm thinking, oh my God, my boss is coming for dinner. We got this sewage in the sink. I got all this nice food on the table. Who's going to enjoy it with this thing? And it's like, oh, and so Jim says, don't worry, I'll take care of it. So in the meantime, a couple days before, when we had our family meal, when I refer to a family meal, that's my whole family, my brothers, my sisters, everybody, the whole family comes. So there's like 25 of us. But anyway, I had done the family meal, and my gravy just... Two things I'm not really good at making is gravy and biscuits. My son-in-law, Aaron, will tell you my biscuits are the worst. I can stand guard over those biscuits, baby them biscuits, and they're going to burn. Or they're not going to be cooked. Something's going to go wrong. I just can't I can't cook a biscuit to save my life. I've tried every. I've tried it on a Pampered Chef Stone. I've tried it on a cookie sheet. I've tried it on a silicone thing. I've tried it on parchment paper. I've tried it on wax paper. I've tried everything. It just doesn't work. So I just give up. I just buy rolls, dinner rolls already done, and put them in the oven to warm up. But anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, so the gravy was really, really bad on that day. So then Jim pulled everything out under the sink, took the thing out, the bucket, put a bucket under, drained all the water, and then we closed the cupboard up, and I just, after dinner, made the excuse that, he was company, we'll do dishes later, not to worry, because then we're going to fix the thing. So then he didn't get there till about 10 after 6. Well, come to find out that he didn't want to be right on time, so he was driving around, thank goodness, because he would have seen that sewage in the sink. So we sit down, we say grace, we pass around the thing, and so then he asked for the gravy, and Christy, who was maybe 4, maybe 5, I remember this to the day, she leaned over, put her hand on his thigh, and whispered to him, "Don't eat the gravy, it's awful." And he just kind of chuckled, and so he picked it up and went to pour it on, and Christy's going, "Don't eat it." He put it on and stuff, and then actually it did turn out pretty good that time, but it was just like, so afterwards when he was asking me about the gravy, I had to tell him about the Sunday story, how the gravy was, it was awful. It was just awful. I don't know what it was, but it was awful. So anyway, how's your attitude today? You got a pretty good attitude? It's a gorgeous day here. Just gorgeous. So you can hear my birds. They're saying, "Where is my food?" So, okay, I'll talk to you guys at breakfast. I think I'm going to have pancakes today. I'm kind of hankering. I was watching something last night, and they had a big stack of pancakes with some bacon, and I thought, that's what I'm having tomorrow. Okay, let's eat breakfast. As promised, pancakes and bacon. Of course, I have to have my fruit. Today is Thursday, May 21st. I started my day with a prayer. My quote is, "My goal is not to be better than anyone else, but to be better than I used to be." It's a 9-point breakfast, 5 points for my half a cup of Kodiak pancake mix, 1 point for a third a cup of sugar-free syrup, 3 points for my center cut bacon, and 0 for my egg, strawberry, banana, and my tea. So I still have 16 points left for dinner. Well, another puzzle finished. So now I have a choice of 2 different puzzles I can do next. And they both look kind of difficult, so I'm not really sure. But we'll see. Well, these are the top cabinets. We're just doing the top cabinets for now. But this is the before. Okay, that's the new cabinet. And that's the old cabinet. I know there's a little difference with the little nub here, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the same cabinet. And there's my son going to put them in. After he eats all my candy, drinks all my pop.
Just the pop.
And eats the nuts. You're not going to eat the nuts this time?
The nuts, okay.
Okay, I didn't eat dinner. That's why I didn't show you my dinner. I was just going to have a snack. I was going to have a couple pretzel rods. And then I ended up having an ounce of jalapeno cheese. And I had 2 pretzel rods and a 1/4 cup of nuts. And now I'm full. So finished out my day. What would that have been? 4 and 5 is 9, 11. And then my breakfast was what? 9, 20 points. So I know that's not the healthy way to eat, but that's the way I ate. Jimmy is finishing now with my cupboards. They look pretty much the same. I know there's a little bit of a difference, but they pretty much look the same, but they're nice. So Jim thinks that they look completely different. He's talking about something about putting some beadboard on it or something. I don't know. If he does that, I'll show you. It's a cupboard. They look fine the way they were before, but you know, whatever. So, oh, I meant to tell you yesterday what I like about Zoom was my Aunt Rosemary's 80th birthday, and she lives in Boston, and obviously nobody can get together for her birthday, so we did a Zoom thing and we surprised her. It was like a surprise party, so it was fun. We had a good time with that. And then finished my puzzle. Oh, I should have showed it to you. Yeah, I'll show you at the end here my puzzle when I finished. Did I film it? Yeah, I did film it. It's been a long day. Same old day, but it's been a long day. I have a collab video going up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, my 5 favorite WW meals. So that one's going to be going up in the morning. I'm going to stay on track. I watched some YouTube videos today. I'm reading a new book. I'll show it to you tomorrow because it's in the other room and I even forget the name of it. I know it's by Harlan Coleman. Stay Close, I think it's called. I don't remember. I'll show you tomorrow. But that's it for tonight. So if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button, share if you think somebody might like to see it. So stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy, but most important, stay safe. So I'll talk to you guys in the morning.